It's finals time here, everybody, for our pro singles bracket over at Columbus, Ohio. I'm Nick DiChiria, joined by Gordon Dixon on the call for what should be a good matchup.
Yeah, excited to see this one. June. Sometimes in these finals, hey, what has the seat holder been doing this entire time? Well, the seat holder has been on the cam pretty much the entire time watching the fourth and third place matches.
Well, he's a gentleman and a scholar, as he was hanging out, enjoying the camaraderie with the fans, it seems. Bold move, Cotton. It might just pay off.
Well, honestly, he hasn't missed a step. He's right back in that treble 20, just as when he left. This is a rematch of the seat match between George Daniels and June Fernando. George taking full advantage of the start. Finding a couple of trebles a turn. You can put a little pressure on this. Got to expect that 70 to be going away here. Ooh, left himself a lot to do. So 70 might not have to go here.
You certainly would like it to go. Should be playing for that. Was going for trip 10, double top, single 15. We get him one dart at it. And it goes. Hits the 12 darter to get things going. All is right in the world of George Daniels. And again, June really not playing too poorly there, considering the fact that, again, he was just hanging out. If you're able to stay that relaxed and be able to watch and only throw a couple warm-up darts and get right back into it, that's a talent that a lot of players struggle to have. And I got to say, he's done pretty solid here.
Yeah, what a follow by George. June's going to want to come back in here pretty strong.
Well thrown second dart stacks up and just pulls a little bit to the right. He definitely doesn't look like he's fallen off at all from his seat match performance. But George, that third place match treated him well for the most part.
Back to back. Oh.
Adding that to your jinx counter. Although I think he already threw the last dart out of his hand when he said it.
I appreciate all this power you believe I have.
I think very highly of you.
Oh, see the frustration. Does he take a shot? He does. Not going to find it, though. If George continues the two trebles to start each turn, could be painful. Oh, my. June going to skate here. Only a single mark from George Daniels. So after a little bit of a shaky exchange, June's going to have the opportunity. Oh, I hate this. Does find it with the last dart.
If you're going to do it, you better hit it.
It is what it is.
You have to have your mystic eye opened up and know that that last dart was going to be a trip of the 19 for that shot to pay off in any way, shape, or form. But it did.
Yeah, and George not happy. Back-to-back suspect turns. One of them was a 1 mark. One of them was a 4 mark. So we know the standard that we're expecting out of George here. June continuing to get frustrated every time here. George can't believe it. Only 3. 1, 4, 3. His last 3 turns to the board. And if you'd have told me that that was going to happen with George Daniels, I would have called shenanigans.
Yeah, still averaging a 4.6 because he did start 5 for 6 on those triples. But You're absolutely right. He's definitely receding in this moment here.
Well, and he's still got a whack here. June not taking full advantage of these poor turns. And just like that, the law of averages, Georgie Porgy Puddin' Pie with the big 9 mark.
And that's a good nickname.
That's a little long for a shirt.
You'd be surprised what they can fit on these shirts nowadays, and we'll get you with the camera, but does not collect on the last one. Needed a 7 mark there. Ball short. And George all of a sudden has control back. A leg that looked like Fernando was going to run away with potentially.
Well, yeah, for all intents and purposes, should have. You're not going to get that many subpar turns from George. I don't mind that shot. He needs George to miss anyways. Even if he had found the 50, it wasn't going to take the lead. One more bowl. Closes it up, and there it is. 2-0 lead. We are back to 3 out of 5 in this final. But George, one leg away now from taking this to a deciding set. I can't remember. Was it off camera? You asked if this was a double dip?
I did ask that off camera. I was trying to see a little bit inside the mind there of Gordon.
Yeah, I think I said yes.
You did.
Honestly, I did not expect June to come out playing the way he did, just because of the downtime. But honestly, he's been putting in some pressure situations and not responded, even though the play has been fairly consistent since we last saw him in that seat match.
It wasn't a terribly long set. The bracket's been running really smooth. And this is the finals. Playing on the board next to him on our other stream board right now, we currently have 4th place match in the women's singles. Christy Graves and Nikki Henshaw going at it against each other there. And then in our big amateur bracket that was just a couple people shy of filling, currently in the 9th through 12th position in that bracket. So, again, the days of super late nights of BullShooter are coming to an end, and for the most part have been a rarity this tour. I think we've only had one night go past 1:30 in the morning, and that's because we waited to watch all the finals.
Well, you talk to me after Pittsburgh.
You know what? I'll put a tenner on it. I'll put a tenner on it.
That all brackets are done before
1:30.
Before 1:30.
Can I get 1:35? I want to shift my line 5 minutes. 10 Monopoly dollars for anybody listening in chat. 10 real dollars for us too.
10 spotter.
180 there for George Daniels to punish the fact that Hurricanes at 169 looking prime for a 3-0 win and to go reset for another best of 5.
Yeah, we've seen him get a whack at this 101 before. June doing everything he can here to set it up. The way George is playing, you got to expect one of these first two to find a treble and him to get a shot at the outer ring. Tops. There it is, 3-0.
Yeah, very convincing win there on that last leg. Again, overall, I don't think Fernando shot bad, and he is all smiles. I got to admit, his mentality right now is unshaken. And I think that he's just going to have to take that into this best of 5 years. George Daniels, though, like fine wine, has aged well throughout the rest of this bracket.
I think you can have as many $10 Monopoly dollars as you would like, judging from the chat.
Yeah, but I don't gamble with strangers. You're my backup, Dad. I will say it. Last year was that pro bracket and that singles bracket finished around 4 a.m. I am taking a risky bet here. I just really think the team's doing the right steps of getting things going.
I can just see you now at the next meeting. You're like, I think we need to cut it off at 64. This 128, yeah, this 128 double elimination, 64 single elimination. I really need this 10 spot.
Okay, if I'm in a position where I really need the 10 spot, I shouldn't have made the bet. That's for dang sure. No, I just have a lot of confidence in our team, right? I really do think they're taking a lot of steps in the right direction. We've had one bracket, and all of the tours so far get past 130, and that was the mixed trips that was in Texas at 103 teams. And that one was right around 215. Every other bracket has finished before 130 or at 130. So I have a big bet relying on the team here as we're getting into the finals once again. On one dip, can we see two dips? George Daniels thinks yes.
When I dip, you dip, we dip.
That's what they tell me.
Look at this guy. Ram-esque on the starts.
High praise to Ram and George in that moment.
June loses the first set 3-0. And then losing the cork. So he needs to stop the rot very quickly here. Or the man they call lights out. Could turn the lights out on June in double quick time.
George again, he's just playing better and better. Really impressed with just how much he continues to improve his game as he plays every match on the stream. One of those things where you just know he's feeling very comfortable right now. Nothing's really breaking his stride either. I mean, that's 5 straight legs for him after his loss in the seat match.
Yeah, and you see the frustration continues to grow. So while we were okay with how he was playing there through the first probably 2.5 legs of that first set, that's going to continue to compound and start to wear on him.
And this is where pressure turns you into a diamond or just keeps you as a piece of coal here. You have to keep that mentality crystal clear. It's still race to 3 in this final set here. That is now 6 straight legs for George Daniels, factoring in his 3rd place match as well. Looking really good.
Yeah, and this is a must-win leg as far as I'm concerned for June. Going from having the seat to now down a leg in the deciding set. And again, that would have been 7 at least the last time they met, and I think how we started the second leg of the first set. George just replied with a 9.
Yeah, it must win for no other reason than the fact that it's just for the confidence too. Like, obviously you don't want to go 2-0 down. That's given. But you just need to get a little bit of a I can do this kind of moment.
And I will say June has thrown a lot more aggressive darts than we normally see in these legs near the end of tournaments.
Yeah, like his 3-2 match over Trevor Sellers that we got the overhead look at was a high pointing affair, both nearing the thousands range. His strategy is not really enabled anywhere near that play, but also these quick, tight scenarios.
Oh, I thought he was going back up on the 3rd dart. I think that's definitely where the eye line started, but wisely takes the 19, but it opens up a shot. George is going to take it.
He's been so good at taking shots like that too.
He really has. Steps in each and every time, and again, that just piles on the pressure for June.
A tall task ahead of June now. Believe it or not, both these guys are actually 6'1". It's just a weird camera perspective. To answer Owen's question.
Look at this from George. Starting to run away with it. Up a leg. No, he's turning the tide here.
Fernando's demeanor has definitely gone from jovial to frustrated in this second set. Again, credit to him. I mean, that was a 3-2 tight, convincing win, and he started off just fine in that first set, but I think George has just done pretty much everything right, and that's the difference maker more so than anything else. And on top of the fact that Fernando might just be putting a little bit too much pressure on himself.
Yeah, George just coming down the stretch here, just continuing to pile it on. June waiting for opportunities that just don't show up. Takes a couple risky, aggressive darts at the beginning of the leg. George makes him pay and cleans it up.
George thinks it's over. So
Yeah.
does Fernando.
Yeah,
It is not over.
It's not over, fellas.
It's not over. And that could be a costly adrenaline dump. Guys, hit the button so you know it's not over. Don't make me run out there.
You're going to have to run out
I'm
there.
going to have to run out there. Yeah, no, I just talked to George. They're trying to find June there, and he's just now walking up. It is a little unique that the format doesn't revert to the same as the losers bracket here for a BullShooter tour, so they were a little shocked at that one, but they're just going to go ahead and get right back into it.
Now, does he remember that it's a double start? He does.
Now, that would be a goldfish memory for sure, as June does not capitalize on the adrenaline dump of that situation.
Yeah, no, I think he was a victim of it. And I don't think you were in here yet, but I was just like, yeah, George will saunter back over and throw another 12-darter.
He definitely was confused. He thought it was over. I was talking with him. I was like, hey, man, I'm sorry. That's just the way the format works, and just get into it. And fun fact, if you're playing at any BullShooter tournament on Tournament King, guess what? The board just tells you if it's over. It says match over when it's done. So just hit the button.
Those pesky soft tip boards.
Doing all the work. They even let you know the format. Ridiculous.
It's funny. This is a long time ago, and it was in a steel bar, but they had the little things on the wall. And this was long before Dart Connect. This was long before any of that stuff. You had to put in a quarter apiece, and it would keep track. It would keep track of 2 out of 3 cricket. And I was playing in a singles event, and the guy won the second leg after I won the first leg, and what was going to turn in his ticket. And honestly, I think I would have had to fight the guy if that little box thing didn't exist, because I kept telling him, I was like, dude, that was only the second leg. And they were good matches. Don't get me wrong. They were long.
Yeah.
And I was like, and strangely enough, like, I can prove it to you. Like, I'm going to go push this button.
And it's going to say.
And this board is going to reset, and we're not going to have to put any quarters in it. And sure enough, it did. And his head was gone.
Yeah,
his head was gone.
It's so hard to kind of get back into it once you think a match is over. If you're the player that thought you won, you're the player that thought you lost. Well, it's really easy to kind of get back on the gas pedal because you're playing with house money at that point. Don't love the 18s look here on starting at 90. You need to hit at least 2 single 20s for the bull. This is a big, risky, must-find trip now.
Yep. Double 18. Oh, double 6. There it is. Reels back a leg.
Wait a second, folks.
But the kiss of death had already happened. It was 2-0. So George is going to get to start this cricket leg without a cork to take it home.
Yeah, it's still ball is in his court. He just needs to make sure to do a quick mental tune-up, and he seems to have done so and is going to try to start off with some excellence.
Yeah, eventually George's annoyance will turn into more and more triples. Here comes June. The second life.
Wait a second. It's the prodigal son returned.
Oh, man. How crazy would this be?
And those were darts that George was hitting in the this last set and at this set as well. All of a sudden, that third dart collect on the close wasn't going.
And also, is it me or my Ohioans bumping hands a heck of a lot more than we've seen in the pro?
I was actually thinking about that a little bit. You guys are just too friendly. That Midwest hospitality as it is. Oh, sorry. Gotta get you a pop.
George does take the point lead back, but this match just one big shot away from being turned around. George Daniels is going to go from thinking that he won to perhaps a deciding leg.
Fernando back to throwing fiery. He's not looking as frustrated as he was. Again, he's playing with house money. He already shook hands. He walked away. He thought it was over. George is just thinking, man, I can't lose after shaking hands with my opponent thinking I won. And that's a good way to start helping that process.
Yeah, the dude, when he looks so likely when that first dart goes in. You're like, oh, you're just going to chuck the rest of these in, aren't you? Like,
He lights out as he does throw, just unconscious at times, it seems. You can definitely just tell with his style of throw and everything, too, though. There isn't much thought to it. That is pretty much all just natural feel and good mechanics.
Yeah, and a 97-point lead now for the man going first. It's not very often you get to win the title twice in one match. George Daniels is going to feel like that's what's happened here.
And this is the opportunity to do so. Even with his opponent throwing a 5-4, the timing for George is still incredible. By far, his highest point of his game is his timing. Every time that big 9 mark would hurt the most, he's found it. The big 8 mark, he's found it. You just can't teach that.
Oh, and here it is. Even the trouble goes in. It's not going to happen. So the window walk for June Fernando. Going to all but do it here. And if all George gets done is closing the 16s, which is not all he's going to get done, still would have been devastating. 95-point lead plus 3 numbers going into the bullseyes.
And throwing the last 3 darts potentially of his tournament run. The results may not have changed after all. George Daniels to finish the win for the second time, as you said. One more will do it. And gets it done there. This time for real, tapping up with each other. And he's like, hey, are we still done? He's looking over at the LJ, the tournament director, to the side there saying, are we done now? Is that what you want? Are you entertained? Oh, I love it. Guys, I have to say, though, I do want to put a retraction. They're not both 6'1".
Oh. They're both 5'8" with a funny camera?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.